Much like you, I am very excited for the Bryce Underwood era to get on and popping in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But I think there's a lot of conversation around his potential for 2025 that is fair, but I think what he really brings for Michigan is resetting the floor for the Wolverines here this upcoming season. We'll talk about all that right now. Before we get to that, though, if you're a Michigan fan, make sure you're subscribed. If you want more content around your Wolverines, that is the best way to make that happen for you. We see who subscribes to what videos. Y'all get a lot of subs on this video. We say, okay, Michigan fans are dialed. Let's give them what they want, which is more content around Michigan. So with that being said, we appreciate y'all being locked in and being subscribed. So I want to revisit what I just said at the top of this thing. The excitement around Bryce Underwood is what he brings with that cannon of a right arm. Because last year, you didn't really have much of a passing game. And that's not to knock Davis Warren or Alex Orji. Just it wasn't a multi-dimensional Michigan offense. And that's okay in certain spots where you can just out-tough and out-physical people. But if you want to get back to where you expect to be, which is competing for the college football playoff, winning national championships, what was the key ingredient that got you over that hump in 2023? It was J.J. McCarthy taking the next step. It was Roman Wilson taking the next step. Cornelius Johnson taking the next step. And you had a game against Alabama in the Rose Bowl where J.J. McCarthy goes for 3 touchdowns, and that was the change-up pitch for you, which allowed you to be that team that then played for and won a national championship. So that's the excitement. Bryce Underwood brings a different level of arm talent than you had a year before, where you still won 7 games, 8th with the bowl win. But I think what's being missed by a lot of people is the arm talent is what's exciting, but the legs and the mobility of Bryce Underwood, I think that alone makes him the best option to be your starting quarterback in 2025. Think about all the things that brings with your offense, okay? If Bryce Underwood is, let's just put this hypothetical out there for you. If Bryce Underwood goes out there and it becomes very evident that first month and a half of the season, hey, this is a lot for the guy. He's a true freshman quarterback. He was the best athlete, best football player on every single high school field he stepped onto, but now he's playing against Big Ten competition. That's an adjustment, going to take a little bit of time for him to get used to. Not to say he can't do it, but it's going to take some time for him to totally get his feet underneath him as a thrower of the football and digesting defenses at the highest level. Let's just say that happens. You still have a 6'3", 6'4", 225, 230-pound quarterback back there that runs like a 4.5, 4.6 and throws down backflips. You still have that in the offense. And so when you look at what Michigan was last year, you don't think you could have used Bryce Underwood a year ago? Some design quarterback run game? You don't think maybe him back there as another option to run the football would have made Michigan that much more dangerous? Because Bryce Underwood as your quarterback opens up a ton of other possibilities outside of even what he does throwing the ball downfield. I just mentioned design quarterback run game. What's one of the questions for Michigan fans going into the year? Hey, the offensive line, we like it. We feel good-ish about it. We don't know that it's like Michigan offensive line of 2023 and, previous dominant units up front. Well, when you have a quarterback back there in Bryce Underwood, what can you do? Call the option, read option, speed option, whatever. When you call the option, guess what that does? It allows the offensive line to have less on their plate because you're reading a down lineman or an edge defender or a walk-up linebacker. You have less on their plate and say, you know what, just turn him loose. Read him, Bryce. Read him. We'll work up to a linebacker, work up to that second, third level. We're not going to even worry about blocking a defensive lineman. You know how nice that is for an offensive line, for a play caller to be able to just say, turn him loose? You're not going to impact the game by making a tackle for a loss. We're just going to read you all day. Makes the offensive line's job easier. Also, that running back room. It's not Blake Corum back there. That's fine. Still a good room. I talked about Marshall ad nauseum, talked about Justice Haynes ad nauseum. If you add in another running threat in Bryce Underwood, guess what that forces on the defense? Again, have to play more sound assignment football. You have to at least think for a second, hey, what if 19 tucks it here? Got to have a guy accounting for that at all times. When you have a guy accounting for Bryce Underwood, guess what? That's one less guy that can devote 110% attention to your running back room, which gives them more daylight, which gives them more opportunity to pick up more yards per carry, which is how Michigan wants to get down anyway, is live in second and third manageable. So my point in all of this is what made Michigan so dominant in 2023, in addition to what they were able to do throwing the ball downfield, was what they were able to do running the ball. Like, compare the 2 years of 23 and 24, the national title year, and what 2024 was. Michigan had 500 more rushing yards in 2024 and ran for over 20 more touchdowns on the ground. Now, I understand that rushing yards number is probably inflated because you played a couple extra games, But you hear what I'm saying. They were a much more effective running the football team in 23 than 24. And Blake Corum is not coming back to Michigan. It's not going to happen. But you know what you can do here with Bryce Underwood? It's kind of moneyball this whole thing. Like Brad Pitt, you recreate Blake Corum in the aggregate. You're not going to get his 1,000-yard season back in a Blake Corum, but you do have two good backs and another guy that can carry the football for you. That's how you recreate the Michigan ground game. And so, again, going back to this whole point here, the excitement is him throwing the football downfield and the new levels of the offense that can unlock. And I totally understand that. And I even agree with that. That's why I have Michigan winning 9 games this year. But if everything just goes to the dogs, I still think Michigan football, with what he has on the ground and his mobility, his athleticism, that still should and will make Michigan more dangerous than they were even a year ago, right? I mean, Kay and I were talking before the show, getting ready for this thing. You won games last year with Alex Orji. And Alex Orji now is gone and playing at UNLV, and I hope he crushes it there. But, like, you go watch the USC game, threw for, 30-something yards? And you beat a USC team that I think is actually a lot better than most people even realized last year. Like, Bryce Underwood can give you more potential at quarterback than what Alex Orji was. And you won some games with him. So I think a lot of people in the Michigan sector of things are going to say, well, JD, I don't want to hear from you. You didn't pick Michigan to make the college football playoff. Get out of our face with that. Stay on that side. I understand. I'm not even saying you're wrong. I hear you. I'm just going to leave you with this. The reason why I'm unsure or right now not picking Michigan to be in the playoff is because I still think there is a game out there where Bryce Underwood is a true freshman quarterback. I think there's still a game where, hey, a couple of bad throws there that cost us. It's a game of margins. We don't really beat ourselves here at Michigan. The way that went in that game, freshman mistakes, that got us beat. I think that game, as of right now, still potentially exists. I'm building in that, scenario into how I see Michigan in 2025. But if he reaches cruising altitude as a passer, and you pair that with the things that God gave him that you quite frankly just can't coach on the ground, at that point, I'll be wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong, and Michigan's going to be a team in the college football playoff. It's all about reaching that cruising altitude. I do not doubt that there's going to be some special moments this year for 19. There's going to be a couple throws where you watch them on Saturdays and say, all right, that's different. Got this dude for at least 2 more seasons. Like, that's we're going to be in very, very good shape. That's exciting. That's special. But if it's consistent and the turnover numbers are low for Bryce Underwood and the completion percentage is high, then Michigan football, with how good that defense I expect it's going to be, all bets are off. All bets are off, and they'll be a playoff team. So that's how I feel about this. But I think, again, a lot of people are missing. The passing part of this is nice, but what he is as a runner, I think already resets the floor for Michigan football here in 2025. But Michigan fans, let me know in the comments section, on the boards, on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, at JD PicKell. What are you expecting from Bryce Underwood here in 2025? Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.